And welcome back to the Countdown. I'm your Countdown host, MJ Book, back for another episode here in the world of the Countdown. Hope everybody's doing good here for you. Got another countdown here for you. Still not quite dipping back into the 80s like I was. Trust me, I will get that finished. I'm just taking the departure. I'm enjoying the departure. Once again, this has nothing to do with movies, so that's probably why I keep doing this. I'm enjoying it. And this was, in a way, kind of thrown together. And it wasn't thrown together with just me because I have somebody who is right here with me. He's a frequent guest here on the show. You know him as the creator and the host of Third Generation Wrestling. He, of course, is on there, the real Big E. Eric, how's it going?
Going good, my friend. You threw this one at me, and I thought about it for about 5 minutes, and I was done. Fastest countdown ever. Easiest countdown ever.
I wish I could say that. There was a moment this got really, really rough, which is why I messaged you and said, I'm shocked I'm done, because I was stuck just on one thing. But for those of y'all wondering what we're doing, staying in video games. I'm enjoying doing these video game countdowns. And I kind of mentioned this one in the last episode, saying I should do this. And I even hinted that I needed a little help. And here's the help, Eric. We're going to be counting down our favorite video game franchises. Now, I had to put a little rules because that's just the kind of way I am. There has to be at least 4 games to count as a franchise. And we had to at least like 3 of them. That made it nice and fair. So evidently it wasn't tough for you. It was a little tougher for me, but we got it done. And like I said, this was totally thrown together. Didn't even know we were going to record today. So this should be fun. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do. While the 10 was easy, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention these 3 really quick. First and foremost, a game that was released a long time ago on the original PlayStation got brought back, and I started playing these. I get back to them though, and that's the Tomb Raider series that they re-released. I actually own all 3 for the Xbox, so I gotta get back to playing these. So I just wanted to throw those out there. Madden. I know it's a little shocking maybe that Madden not in my top 10, but it definitely has to get mentioned. It's something that I pick up every year just because I love football. And this is kind of a cheat, but it's an honorable mention, so I figured it was okay. It's made by the same company, Rockstar Games. They do the Grand Theft Autos, and they also do the Red Dead Redemption series. Okay, I absolutely love Red Dead Redemption 2. This game got my feelings. Not many do that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you have not played this game, it is very long and it is a very large game. If you're a gamer, you understand what I mean by that. So make sure you have enough space on your hard drive when you buy this. But it is worth every penny. And you will spend hours and hours and hours, and you'll barely scratch the surface. There's so much to do. I'm sure one day I'll play through it again. But yeah, those are the 3 that I want to make sure I at least gave a shout out to.
Couple things with Red Dead. Were you going back all the way to Red Dead Revolver? Is that where you were going that far back, or was it because there was really only those 2, Red Dead Redemption 1 and Red Dead Redemption 2? Or maybe you were counting Undead Nightmare.
I know about Revolver, but really for me, it was the 2 Redemptions because Red Dead Redemption 2 actually is a prequel, and you don't realize that until you finish the game. So eventually I do have to go back and play Red Dead Redemption. So.
And the other thing about Red Dead Redemption 2 is I fucking hate it.
What?
Yep. The game crashed at a ridiculous amount of levels to a point where I was dying because of it. It just kept crashing.
It never crashed on me.
It crashed. It was a guarantee in a playthrough that thing would crash 5 to 10 times. No joke. It was when you have to play a game like that and it's long on top of that, you're just not going to enjoy it. So I beat it once and I will never play that thing again.
Well, hey.
Bad experience, man. Just a bad experience. Plus, I already knew what was going to happen. So it took.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play, so I didn't know. So, like I said, the ending really hurt me. Like, I was hurt. I was legitimately hurt.
Yeah, it didn't affect me that bad. I knew it was coming. I hope for Red Dead Redemption 3, they just stay away from all these characters so we can get something fresh. So you don't go into it already knowing what was going to happen. Because I already knew what would happen going in. And that took away from it too. But I'm weird. All right. I do have a couple of honorable mentions. The Harry Potter movie video games. I love Harry Potter. I loved all those games. I have all of them. Those were enjoyable. I also do have Madden. And so don't feel bad about that because I think that speaks to Madden. If Madden was in better shape, it would be in our top 10, I think. But it's so shitty now that it's only can be an honorable mention. And it's a shame. Mafia. I love the Mafia games. And
never played it.
They're good. They're very good. They're Mafia 1 and 2 are the best ones. 3 is kind of even though you're playing a brother. But and he's a big brother. He's a big boy. And it's very racially accurate. The N-word is all over the place.
Well,
it's all over the place. UFC.
They jangled it up, huh?
Oh yeah, they jangled it. UFC games and Fight Night for boxing fans. I wish Fight Night.
Yeah.
I wish Fight Night would come back. I love.
Oh man,
because it had every boxer that ever lived in the game.
Yes.
So it was just a dream. I missed that game so much. The last one was Fight Night Champion with the created character that's on UFC games now. It's weird.
I used to play Fight Night so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish they'd bring it back.
Outside of my creative character, I would play with Roy Jones the most. I don't know why. I like Roy Jones.
He was fast. He was fast, and he was fast, and his connecting he was not going to miss.
Yeah.
One more, and this will be a little bit of a shocker. Resident Evil. Couldn't make it into the 10. I'm sorry. After the original 3, it went to shit. And I haven't got able to go back. So, but as soon as a certain show is off the air, I will play the remake of Resident Evil 1. But I'm just waiting for that show to die. And I'll play it. And then we can talk about these games.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get this cracking. This is a 10-spot countdown. Let's not hold this anymore. Number 10, what you got?
All right. Pull this up. Okay. So this is kind of a layup, so to speak. But when I made the list, I had to think about okay, what games do I actually buy? What games do I actually spend time playing? And this is another game that comes out every year, but there's only really been a handful of them that I really got into and spent hours and hours and looking at my watch going, damn, I need to do something else because I've been on this game too long. And it's the Call of Duty series coming in number 10. I didn't get into it until Modern Warfare, which was on PS4 and the 360. I believe I played it on PS4. I don't know. I can't remember. But that was my favorite one. After that, they fell into that trap of kind of like Madden and 2K did, where we got to come out every year. We're just going to put something out every year. and it was hit or miss. Call of Duty missed more than it hit. But in the recent years, including the one that just came out this past year, the one that came out the year before, I have trouble keeping up with the names because they've done
been too many.
There have been 3 or 4 Black Ops. There's been, 3 or 4 Modern Warfares. So I just say COD, the new COD. That's all I can call it. But I don't know. I try every year. I'm not gonna buy it this year. I always end up buying it. So yeah, I like it as a maybe it's the military guy in me that just can't get enough of a shooter, first person shooter. Maybe that's it. But I play them. I buy them every year. So yeah, Call of Duty. I think my favorite, Modern Warfare, the original, is by far my favorite one. So.
Okay. All right. I am not into the Call of Duty games, unfortunately. I do not like first-person shooters. I am one of those weird gamers. I gotta see myself. I can't just see that.
Well, you're gonna have a problem with a couple of Resident Evil games.
That they just won't get played. Plain and simple. And probably I won't even get that far anyway. Let's be honest. I probably would stop at Nemesis. All right, my number 10. And this is going back a ways. These games don't even exist anymore. For those watching on YouTube, you can already see what the game is.
Oh.
This goes back, baby. For those of you listening, this series started back in 2000 on PlayStation. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. I'm not LeBron. PlayStation 1, the original, and morphed in what became SmackDown vs. Raw. It is WWF SmackDown. Particularly, my favorite one was Here Comes the Pain with Brock Lesnar. Wrestling games nowadays just aren't the same anymore. The 2K series was never was up there. It had some decent moments and decent games, but these SmackDown games, there was stories, there was plot. It actually felt like a show. I liked their GM mode far better than the 2K's pathetic version of it. You felt like a professional wrestler, creating your guy. You felt him grow throughout the WWF at the time. They made so many games, and they were all good. I still have all these damn games. It's once it got to SmackDown vs. Raw that I started seeing, okay, this is starting to drop off a little bit. And that led to 2K. And 2K, well, they freaking put a gun to their head and blew their head off with that last one. But SmackDown versus Raw, these were the best of the wrestling era games. They never got as good as this, and it was fun playing these games with other wrestling fans. This was one of those games you just picked your favorite and you just were beating the hell out of each other, and it was fun. So my number 10, WWF SmackDown, which of course my favorite one being Here Comes the Pain with, yes, that's Brock Lesnar. For some of you who might not know, that's Brock. What you got?
I don't know if I had that particular one, but I had a SmackDown game on the Dreamcast, and I played the hell out of that. I don't know which one that was.
Do you remember who was on the cover?
Or it might have been the PlayStation, the original, like you said, because they had a few on there first.
The original PlayStation was SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, and
that's the one.
Know Your Role?
Yeah, that was the one.
Yep, that one had Rock and Triple H, I believe, on the cover.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Played the hell out of that one.
That's a good. They were all good.
Played the hell out of that one.
They were all good.
I even liked it when it became SmackDown versus Raw. There was one that was critically acclaimed. Like it got a lot of good reviews. So
I
I mean, they
think that was the 2007 version.
yeah, I
Because
think John Cena was on the cover of that one.
2007 was Triple H.
Oh, Triple H.
John Cena was on 2006 with Batista.
Okay. 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 All right. I was working at Walmart at the time, so I should kind of know these things. I worked in electronics, so I'm thinking I should know these things, but
It's
that was a
2007, man. It's
long time
2007.
ago.
It's been a while.
God, I don't know where the time went, man. But anyway, speaking of another franchise, my number 9, that also gets released every year. Gotta get these out the way. I'm not going to dilly dally with this one. NBA 2K, the 2K series. Ever since I think it was 2K7 when Shaq was on the cover, he was on the Heat. I think that was 2K7. Ever since then, I've been 2K because back before 2K, it was NBA Live. I don't know what the hell happened to NBA Live, but it went to absolute shitsville, and it has never recovered. They have tried and tried to come back into the fold, but people they've said no. We are 2K now. The only NBA video game that matters is NBA 2K, and at this point in time, that's the only one. They every now and then, like I think 2 years ago, they came out with another NBA Live. They put Kevin Durant, I
Yeah, it was
believe,
2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
And they tried with the NBA champion. It still did not do well. So 2K, it was just easier to. It was easier to play, quite frankly, when they first started getting popular. It was easier to play. The graphics were better. Like there was no reason to go back to NBA Live. And at this point, I mean, the only thing bad I can say about the NBA 2K is there's generic things about it, like the same old with the announcer in the arenas. It's the same cadence. It's been the last 10 years. You've got the same announcers, but they do what they did start doing, and they were smart. They said, okay, we got to do something different. They added a story mode to the game, and that was really smart. And every year it changes.
It's a very good story mode.
And you get a lot of people from pop culture, like Jay-Z and Russell Simmons, Spike Lee, that have gotten involved. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Like all these people. Idris Elba, he's been in the game. I mean,
yes, he has.
all these famous people that have just gotten involved with this game and made it bigger than it's ever been. So it's for me, it's why I buy the game, because I want to see, okay, what's the new story? And they're so interactive. They give you all these options to choose, so you can kind of create your own path, even though it's a story mode. And you can still do the traditional franchise mode with your favorite team, create a player. Like it's great. No, I mean, 2K. That's all I can say.
By the way, you were right. 2K7 is the one with Shaq on it when he was with the Heat. I looked it up real quick.
Got it.
Yeah, you nailed it.
That was the first one I bought. So,
all right. My number 9. You know what? It's so interesting. It's so interesting what you picked. It's so friggin' interesting.
Oh man, I couldn't have called that for nothing.
For y'all watching on YouTube, you know why he's laughing. For those of you listening in, we have completely agreed on our number 9, because mine is also 2K. 2K, I got into it a little later because I was a holdout. I originally was NBA Live. And as NBA Live started all the way back to Lakers versus Celtics, Bulls versus Blazers, USA basketball, it's the same line with NBA Live, and eventually it became NBA Live, and at that point that was the NBA game. 2K eventually came around, but it was still clear that NBA Live was the shit. Something happened, as you said, something definitely happened, and 2K overtook them. And then not only did they overtook them, they pushed them down and just kept going up. And 2K started digging, or NBA Live started digging its own damn hole. And they went 2-3 years without a game. And now they're currently 2 years without a game. I didn't get into 2K until that first run of 2 years, no game, because I went a full year, no new basketball games. That sucked. You had to update your old NBA Live game with the new rosters, which, again, it sucked. Then the second year came out, and I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this. I've had no NBA game for 2 fucking years. And so it was around that time that 2K12 came out. And that was my introduction to 2K. And for those of you who are interested in covers, that cover got athlete. There was 3 different covers. I think it was Magic, Bird, and Jordan. Mm-hmm. Geez, which one did I buy? Which one did I buy? I don't know. I think it was some guy who liked the air a lot. I got the Jordan cover and I was hooked. 2K is definitely the shit as far as sporting games and basketball games. It is a little bit on a downhill. I haven't gotten the newer one that came out last year because I was in that transition. I will get the newer one, which they did a trailer and have announced just a day or so ago. I don't know if you've seen it. Do you know who the cover athlete is?
I don't.
Luka.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. He's
Luka. And there's a special edition version that has all kinds of superstars on the cover, but Luka's the main one.
Shit, he's the first white boy to be on this since Dirk.
Well, Dirk's on the other cover. On the other cover, so they go all out. But definitely, you said everything. There's not a whole lot more I can say. I love the story mode. It's my favorite thing. I dip into that story and I get invested. And it's one of those games, even when the career mode is actually over and you're just playing your guy's games, it still is interesting playing your guy's games and playing his career to make him the best NBA player ever. And it at least has some challenge in there, unlike some other games. So there's not much more I could say. Number 9, 2K. You said it all.
Hey, well, I'm like you. I did buy the Xbox One version of the new one. It was on sale. That's why I did it. It was only $20. So we got it. Obviously, you can see my backdrop here. I've been fortunate enough to be able to own both of the new generation systems. So I will be getting the new 2K when it comes out, the newer Madden, and hopefully the graphics are different because there's another video game that came out this year, sports game, that failed to upgrade their graphics, but I still play it because I like the sport. Did make my countdown. Maybe it made yours. If not, we'll talk about it at the end. So, that being said, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit to the 90s. Back when life wasn't life so much better in the 90s. I mean, there was no war.
Didn't have to work.
There was no wars going on. People could, gas was, $1.50, all these kind of things.
No cell phones.
No social media. We did have one of the greatest games of all time. If it was summertime and it was bad weather out, you could find me in my room sitting down Indian style with my Sega Genesis controller in my hand playing this game.
Is it Sonic?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I figured.
I had Sonic 1, 2, but I think I had 3. But I did not get and I couldn't convince my parents to get me Sonic and Knuckles, and it was burning me up because I really wanted to play with Knuckles. And it was weird because what they did was back in the day, kids, you couldn't digitally download a game. We didn't have games on discs. We had them on cartridges.
Cartridges.
You know, everybody remembers doing this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the alcohol with the pads, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. Get that gang on. You had to slam it in real quick.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Hell, this is even before memory cards. You start from the beginning every time. Yes, I love the series. It was all about playing as long as I could, as long as possible, pausing the game to go eat dinner or do whatever chore I need to do, and then coming back to it. This game, I mean, if you didn't grow up playing Sonic, I'm sorry, but you didn't have a childhood. It was amazing. It was akin to Mario Brothers. It's the only thing I can relate to is Mario Brothers. It's the same type of setup, you know, collecting the rings, the loops, and then winding Sonic up to shoot him out even faster, know, all those things. And then even I still played it when they went to Dreamcast and they introduced Shadow, which is pretty much a doppelganger of Sonic.
Darker version.
Yeah. Loved it. If they come out with another Sonic, I would definitely go grab it and play it. He is one of the most iconic video game characters ever. Next to Mario. I put him right next to Mario. Seriously. The movie came out. Today is the highest grossing, most successful video game adaptation. It's a layup though.
That's not a compliment.
No, it was easy. It's a kid character, so I mean, but hey, I grew up with the game. I played it on Sega Genesis and Sega Dreamcast. So Sonic is my number 8.
All right. Sonic. Yeah, I loved Sonic back in the day. The problem was after round 3, nothing.
You didn't like Knuckles?
No.
Oh man, I love Knuckles.
No.
It was almost like seeing Batman and Superman. Like, who is this Knuckles guy that's got a problem with Sonic?
Nah, it lost me then. I played a few games on the Dreamcast, and the last Sonic game I played was Sonic Free Riders, I think it was called. Oh God, just one of the worst games I've ever played. So Sonic lost me, but definitely back in the day, Sonic was the shit. Unfortunately for Genesis, he was about the only shit because there wasn't much else on Genesis. There was that, Mortal Kombat, a couple of football games. That was about it. Some basketball games and things of that. But Genesis was a kind of a quick system. But Sonic was definitely the leader of the pack there. Oh boy, my number 8. It's funny that I have this as number 8 and it's not Sonic. But it is connected to something I've already mentioned. And for those watching again, you already can see what it is. And I have to show my respects to this series because this series was huge for me. And it deserves its respect. Unfortunately, it's gone down. But I've had too many entertaining times playing this series, and it is NBA Live.
Yeah.
It's hard for people nowadays to understand why this game is here because you're just thinking of 2K, and NBA Live ain't done shit in 2 years. But you have to think back in the day.
Live ain't done shit in 15 years.
No, not 15. No, not 15.
It ain't been good.
It hasn't been good lately. But I will give it, but it's not been 15 years. I
We
won't
can
let you.
debate that later.
There's no debating it. There's no debating it. I can tell you exactly the game that was their biggest, their last big hit was NBA Live 10. Now that was a long time ago, but that was their last big hit. And that's because the game creator from 2K went over to NBA Live and made this game, and that game was an absolute smash. After that, he left and went back to 2K. Mike Wang. You played 2K, you've seen him if you watch 2K TV. He went over to NBA Live. So
I was looking at your graphic there. I was trying to see. 98 is my favorite.
98?
Mm-hmm. Tim Hardaway.
Oh, okay.
I had a pair of those Air Bacons.
But yeah, NBA Live, like I just said, the NBA Live 10 was a huge hit. They were finally on the come up, and then they did the disaster of changing their damn name. It became NBA Elite 11. Don't know why they did that, which was Kevin Durant. And then we go, and that game eventually just gets dropped. Then we go 2 years, nothing. They finally come back with NBA Live 14, and yuck, just a disaster. That was the one with Kyrie on the cover, and it was a disaster. It was just a failure, but so much entertainment with this series because it goes back to Bulls versus Blazers, which was my start. It was the second game back when it was Electronic Arts, before they just became EA Sports. It was Electronic Arts. And that was back when that wasn't a cuss word like it is now. But NBA Live, I know a lot of people may have a problem me putting this over 2K, but it's out of respect. This was back in the day, this was the sporting franchise. This was the best. This is before Madden got its kick. NBA Live was the king of the hill. And I would love for it to come back up. It has had a few moments recently that weren't so bad. Maybe if 2K keeps screwing around, NBA Live, if it can put together a decent game, might at least be able to close the gap a little bit. But out of respect, gotta love my NBA Live. It earns its spot here. I'm proud of it. It's my number 8, NBA Live.
All right. I had my fair share of NBA Live days. Trust and believe me. It was a what's the word I want to use? It was a battle to switch to 2K. I'm like that, but then everybody can tell me, no, you gotta play 2K. It's so much better. No, I'm a live guy. I finally broke down and got it, and I was like, damn, this is better.
I stayed. It wasn't until they went those 2 years.
But I'm glad you did this. You got to give it up to the OG. NBA Live will always be the OG. It's the one that got it started. Mm-hmm. There would be no 2K.
They made 2K without it. 2K had to keep getting better because of NBA Live. So hopefully that can flip in NBA Live. I wouldn't mind there being 2 very good NBA games. NFL, we're talking to you.
There used to be.
And there will be again. 2K's doing an NFL game. It'll be a little different, but at least it's something different.
And there actually used to be 3.
Yeah. Are you kind of college?
No, not even that.
Oh, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, it was like a cross between WWE and NFL.
Yeah, there was a few of those.
Oh,
man. Your NFL Blitz.
Oh man, I love those games.
Mutant League Football, even though it was just one game, but I did buy the remake that they did. Still awesome.
Okay. Number 7. This game, I had a friend growing up. His name was Todd, and he introduced me to this series. And I was hooked. From the very first time we played, I was hooked. I've always kind of been in the cars, so this kind of It's like Mortal Kombat for cars.
Oh God, Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. I'm waiting for a new one on this. Okay, can we please get a new Twisted Metal? Now, there are a few things they need to tweak because there's some things you just can't do nowadays that they did back on the original PlayStation.
No.
The one being the character Axel.
Axel.
Ain't no.
Yeah, no, that one ain't gonna fly. No, they'd be picketed.
Ain't no fucking way you gonna strap a nigga to some tires like this.
Yeah, they'd be picketed. The company would shut down the next day.
No, sir.
No, they have to change that one up.
I mean, eventually, I think Twisted Metal 2 was the last game he was in because I think they realized the imagery.
They went too far. They went too far.
It's like, as a kid, you don't really pick up on it, but as an adult, you're like, the fuck is this?
Well, there's a lot of those games back then you'd look at and go, okay, that wouldn't work today.
And then you had the only other black character was Thumper, and he drove a pink Lincoln, and his name was Thumper.
Thumper.
I was like, okay.
Thumper. Yeah.
But by far, even though it was, had Axel and Thumper, but Twisted Metal 2, by far my favorite Twisted Metal. 3 was okay. 4 was better than 3. They kind of got back to the original roots. Everybody knows Sweet Tooth, that ice cream truck. Everybody knows.
Well, he was the mascot.
Yeah. So when you play Twisted Metal, you think of Sweet Tooth. There's also Spectre. God, I can't think of their names now. But I tried to play as everybody. The thing about Twisted Metal 2, why I love it so much, because they had the story mode, you would play as everybody, and at the end, when you beat the game, it had this comic book style story that would kind of explain what happened after the tournament. And that's why I call it Mortal Kombat with cars, because it was a tournament. It is a classic. People that know PlayStation, watching, listening, you know what I'm talking about. Twisted Metal is awesome. And if you don't know, look it up, play it. I promise you won't be disappointed. It's my number 7.
I guarantee you they don't know. Because there hasn't been a Twisted Metal game in forever.
Long, 15 years probably.
I'm trying to think. The last one, PlayStation
Black.
2? Around there?
Black. I think 3.
Was it 3?
PS3. PS3 had Twisted Metal Black. That was the last one.
It must have not done too good.
I really wish they would make a new one. I really, really, really wish. There was some couple knockoffs that actually weren't that bad, but nothing ever will be Twisted Metal.
That's a good pick. And all right, my number 7. This is going to be an odd one because I don't believe this would be one you would even think I would pick. But there's a certain game type that just doesn't get done well. And this franchise has been able to do it better than anybody. For those watching, you can see it. For those of you listening, it's the Sherlock Holmes video games.
I didn't even know they had games.
Oh, yeah. Yep. The thing is, I love a good detective video game. And the problem is there just isn't that many good ones. My favorite is an old CSI one back on PlayStation 2. I think it's Three Dimensions of Murder, I think is what it was called.
What about the Batman series?
That's not a detective game. It's got a detective mode on it, but it's not a true blood detective game because it's comic. I mean actual full-blown a detective. Okay. None of this fantasy type of stuff, just being a detective. And there isn't that many of them. And a lot of people point to LA Noire, which I do like, but I didn't feel like a detective because most of your cases get thrown out. So in the end, I didn't feel like a detective in it. And I was pissed off, and I was in a GameStop, and I saw this game that's behind me, Testament of Sherlock Holmes. And that's what opened it up. This was a PlayStation 3. Now, the graphics on it, I'm not going to lie. The graphics are shit. But it's a detective game. There's not explosions and fights and gunplay or any of this. You're mainly walking around, looking at clues, solving one case. And it's a huge case. They eventually would make more of these games. There's a Sherlock Holmes Crime and Punishment. There's Sherlock Holmes The Devil's Daughter. And on Steam, there's Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. But there were plenty of Sherlock Holmes games before this one. They were on computer. And the first one I played there was Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. So I just have a soft spot for these games. This countdown, the best thing I can do is for this countdown is urging people to look for these Sherlock Holmes games. It's not about the graphics. It's just a good detective game where you get to use your mind. And I think we've kind of gotten away from these kind of games where we just have nothing but blood and guts, explosions, and gunplay. It's nice to have a game where it makes you actually think. And that's what I love about the Sherlock Holmes video games. Definitely urge all of you to take a look at theirs. They're by Frogwares. It's I can't remember what country they're from, but very good game. I strongly suggest, and that's why it's my number 7, Sherlock Holmes games.
That's a unique one. I don't recall even hearing about this game. Like there was a point in time where I just knew what was coming out. I worked in retail for a number of years, so I just knew what was coming out, and I knew what was in the game case because we had the keys. When you first get retail or work at Walmart and Target specifically. Hell, I even worked at Best Buy, and you do it because you love video games. After a while, you're like, I don't want these keys because people are bugging me to get games and I don't want to do it. But anyway, that was the point I was making. Okay. Number 6. And they recently finally released the official 4th installment of this game. There was only 3, and they released like a knockoff Mario Kart version. Like everybody had a Mario Kart version because everybody needed the racing cars, and I guess it was almost as if. So they released a new Mario Kart, and then Sonic did one with racing, and then this character did one too. And of course, we own it. I don't know if I can. 1 second.
He's about to get himself a prop here, folks. He's all about the props for this one. Looks like he's going to find himself another prop. At least, I guess he's improving the show a little bit here with the props. Let's see what this one is.
No. Okay. Well, I couldn't find the 4th game, but this will pretty much sum up the game I'm talking about. Bam.
Crash Bandicoot.
Bam. So,
oh, brother.
This right here is the 3-pack. You get 1, 2, and 3 in 1 on the Switch, which my kids have. The Switch. They play the Switch. I don't play it. I played 2 the most, and 2 and 3 the most. But 2 obviously got the most play. 1 I went back to play after I played 2. It's Activision made this game. They made a couple of games. They made this, and I'm pretty sure they made Ratchet and Clank as well. And I do plan to get that one, the new one, soon to play that one. But anyway, Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot 2 was my favorite one because they had all these different. The thing was 4 different areas you had to go through to collect the crystals, and you had to defeat the boss. I played the hell out of this. Me and my best friend who lived across the street from me, we both played it, and we kind of were in a competition to see who could beat the game first. I think he beat it before me.
I remember those days.
But he wouldn't. He didn't spoil it for him, but he kind of let me know. Oh, I already did that. We'll be at the bus stop getting ready to go to school. He's like, all right, I already did that. I was like, whatever. He also had a PlayStation before me, so he kind of had a leg up anyway. But definitely spent a lot of time playing Crash Bandicoot. It was one of those games that was so frustrating that I'd be stuck for weeks on one part. And it was so gratifying because back then, ain't no internet, I'm gonna pick up the phone, get on YouTube, and look up how to beat this. No, you just got to do it.
Or get a Game Shark.
That was it. I didn't have that. Mom wasn't going for that. She was going to get the game if she could do that much, and that was it. The rest is up to you, buddy. So, yes, Crash Bandicoot 2, it was the most gratifying thing. It's the very first video game that I ever beat start to finish, Crash Bandicoot 2. Outside of another game, Mortal Kombat, fighting games were kind of like, that's different. But start to finish a story game where there's bosses and levels and things like that. It was the first one I actually beat. I never beat Sonic as much as I played it.
Really?
Shame to admit that, but no.
You never beat Sonic?
No.
Wow.
No.
It's not that hard.
Well, now, but as a kid, you're like, I can't do it.
It wasn't that hard then.
I can't do it. I quit. I'll go ride my bike or something.
Oh, no.
And then with Sonic, you always had to start over. But with Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation, you had memory cards. So you could start where you left off. So it was, But yeah, be remiss if I didn't have that on my list. Crash Bandicoot.
I'll say this. Nintendo, its mascot was clearly Mario. Genesis, its mascot was clearly Sonic. Early days of PlayStation, the mascot was Crash Bandicoot. Back in the day, the commercials was that guy in that Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
The guy in the Crash Bandicoot outfit where his head's sticking out, which they brought back.
Hilarious.
I don't know if you saw one of the more recent commercials of that. They brought that back.
Hilarious.
So PlayStation never, and for people that have said it doesn't have a mascot, it did. It was Crash Bandicoot. He was the mascot. He was the first one. When you thought of PlayStation, you thought of Crash Bandicoot, which will probably make this a little more insulting to him. I never played Crash Bandicoot. Not once. I just never piqued my interest, but.
Well, all I can say is you're missing out, man. That's all I can say.
I'm fine. Number 6 is a game I do believe that Eric was talking about earlier. Was this what you were talking about?
That is what I was referring to.
Okay. For those you know me, you knew hands and down this series was going to make an appearance, which is why he made that statement. He knew good and hell well that this was going to show up. If he's ever playing games and if he sees what I'm playing, half the time I'm playing this. So for me, it's MLB The Show. To me, MLB The Show is the greatest current sports video game series. To me, it's just not close. It's a beautiful game. It makes me feel, and NBA 2K doesn't even make me do this. It makes me feel like I'm at a baseball game. I've had people who walk by me when I'm playing 2K. They know it's a video game. I've had people walk by me when I'm playing MLB The Show. They think I'm watching a baseball game. That is a great compliment to that game. It is just a beautiful game.
It looks great.
It's and the most recent incarnation. I love the most recent. It's not my favorite. My favorite is still MLB 17, the show with Griffey on the cover. That one is still my favorite.
That's my favorite one too.
That one is still my favorite, and that's the one I have is with Griff. That's still my favorite, but I do love this game, and it's made me earn everything. Made me earn the career that I have this character. I'm in the 8th season of this player, and it has not been easy. Half of that I've had seasons where I only played like 21 games. I've had to earn my starting position, whereas on the previous ones, you kind of got it in like one season, if even that. You would just get it. I had to earn it, and I kind of like that. Some folks may get a little annoyed, but for me, it made it more realistic, and that's why I love MLB The Show. The realism of this series, to me, far surpasses any series. Now, I can see some of the problems, and I bought this game very early, and there was some serious problems when this thing came out. No doubts there. Serious bugs, serious issues, but they've cleared a lot of that up. So for me, it is still the best sports game series ever, and hopefully they don't botch this up like Madden has, like 2K is starting to, like NBA Live completely did. It's still the best. It's still the top of the heap. I love this game. When we're done doing this show, that's what I'm going to go play is MLB The Show. And I have 2 careers going as a pitcher and as a two-way player. I play the hell out of this. It is the best. I love it. MLB The Show. I can't go wrong with it for me. It's just too damn good.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's adaptive. There were a few bugs with the most recent one. But I just recently started playing with my favorite team, the only real baseball team that I've been a true fan of. I've followed other teams in the past, and growing up, I used to know baseball lineups top to bottom, relief pitchers, everything. Because me and my best friend were obsessed with baseball. Obsessed. We played little league ball, all of it. Okay. And my team is the White Sox. So just putting that
I love
out there.
their Southside jerseys.
Those Southside jerseys, I gotta get one.
Those are tight. Those are tight, man. I'm considering buying one of those. Those are tight.
I gotta get me one.
I still have some old White Sox hats from back in the day as a kid listening to too much gangster rap because of Dr. Dre.
Number 1 in the division, by the way, currently.
Yes, they are. They're very good this year.
Just putting that out there.
Put that out there. Put that out there.
Okay. All right, get into the nitty gritty here. Top 5. This game has been around for a long time. Started with PlayStation, and I can honestly say it's funny. I've played every single one of them except the most recent one, which is strange. And this game has even gotten a couple movies. There's not a lot of games I can say that, but this one has. And I think they left off on number 7. And I'm talking about Tekken. Tekken is one of those games that I've never seen people so like betting money. I mean, people would drop big money on this game, like one-on-one. Tekken? You want to hit me up on some Tekken? You trying to go on Tekken? Bro, you don't want to see me in Tekken. Oh, man. And I've seen fights over this game.
Yeah.
It's real. And I blame one character in the whole series because it seemed like before this character was introduced, there was peace and people would play the game and win, lose, whatever. Once they introduced this brother, it was over with.
What, Eddie?
Eddie.
Was that his name?
Eddie. Once Eddie came along on the scene, oh man. First of all,
his fighting style was a bit annoying.
People lost their minds. And I am guilty. Guilty as charged. Because I played with Eddie. But he wasn't my number one. My number one was Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu was good.
Yoshimitsu was my number one. The only problem with Yoshimitsu was if you hit the wrong combination, he would hurt himself. So you had to time it just right, because he had a move. He had a sword move that would take your entire bar. And if you hit that, it was game over. But if you miss, he killed him. So he hurt himself. So I only played with Yoshimitsu, Law, and Eddie.
Law was my favorite.
Before that, so before Eddie, it'd be King, Law, and Yoshimitsu. But Law obviously was based on Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. That's why I love Law. It was Bruce.
I mean,
you better be good with Law. You better be good as Law, or you're disrespecting Bruce.
Oh man, I used to piss off this guy I grew up with those flip kicks. Man, I used to kill him with those.
Yeah,
but I try to get good with Law's hands, because Law had hands too. Now, don't sleep on them hands.
Yeah, he had hands.
But yeah, Eddie. Once Eddie came along, I believe that was Tekken 3, and Eddie showed up, and Jin showed up, and it just changed the game for Tekken. I saw the first movie. That one was actually okay for what it was. I have not seen the second one. Also, haven't heard good things, so I just ain't going there. So it is what it is, though. But yes, Tekken definitely had him in my top 5 because of the hours and hours and hours spent playing 1 through 6. I have not played 7, but I definitely have played every single one of them 1 through 6. So yeah.
All right. I played Tekken a little bit at a friend's house. I think it was Tekken 3 that we played the most. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Tekken 3. We would get in brawls. Straight up. I don't know why that game brought violence.
It did.
But it brought straight up violence. Mortal Kombat didn't even do that back then, but Tekken did.
Tekken did. I don't know what it was about Tekken, boy.
Street Fighter never did. It was Tekken.
The most heated arguments was over Tekken.
Yeah, this is
don't
before.
Understand it.
Yeah, this is pre-rage quit, when you're playing against somebody online in some other country and they just turn off the thing. No. You're in the same room with the motherfucker. Mm-hmm. He's right there next to you. Mm-hmm. And he's done pissed you off, or you're pissing him off. And you knew it as soon as he threw that controller down.
Oh,
he looks right over at you. It's like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're about to go.
Yeah,
Round 2.
Tekken brought the blood.
Sometimes literally.
Yeah.
Sometimes literally some bloodshed would occur. But all right, you said it, nitty gritty. Number 5. This is where things start to hurt. This is where it hurts having games at certain levels, because I feel like I'm disrespecting the damn games because they're so damn good. And again, those on YouTube, you already can see what it is. And it's truly one of the best damn games ever. And it's one of those franchises that does a rare thing where each game does get better. And it's Uncharted. The Uncharted series is just genius. And when I first heard about it, of course, the comparisons are, it's just, Tomb Raider, it's Indiana Jones. That's the common comparison. And it's a fair comparison. But you can separate it from that because it's his own thing. Nathan Drake is his own fleshed out character. He's not a copycat of anybody. And they found the right voice actor for Nathan Drake. Everything just worked. Sully is hysterical. Sully is just one of the best damn characters. I wish Sully had his own game sometimes because he's so damn entertaining. But the Uncharted series started out innocently with that first one, Drake's Fortune, which, because I'm on a zombie ban, I can't play because there's fucking zombies in that game. there's zombies. It pisses me off. And there's zombies technically in the second one, so I can't play that one either. Thankfully, I can play the third one, and thankfully, the fourth one, which the fourth one is, when I heard about that game, it's Thieves End. I'm like, oh God, is this where they're going to fuck it up? Is this where this franchise goes and just jumps the shark? You can argue that the fourth one is the best one of the entire goddamn franchise. It is so amazing. It is a beautiful game, a great adventure. I don't know if this is the swan song to Nathan Drake as far as video games. I hope not. I would love to see more Nathan Drake. Obviously, we had a side game, Lost Legacy, which I do have. It's a good game, but obviously it doesn't compare with the regular Uncharted series. And of course, we have a movie with Tom Holland and Mark fucking Wahlberg, which drives me crazy.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because Tom Holland is playing a young Nathan Drake. So they're trying to start it off the right way. I just hope I have not played a single one.
Oh, so, you should.
So I can't speak on it. And it's not that I'm against it. I just haven't played them.
You should try it.
I just hope that any video game movie that comes out, I always hope, please do this justice, because you've had people that have put hours and hours into this, and they need to see it done right.
And this is not a little franchise, Uncharted. This is one of those.
No, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, there's a new one. There's a new one coming out. So
yeah, you cannot fuck this up. So Tom Holland does not bother me. It's Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, come on, Marky Mark. Yeah,
it's Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark.
Mark has not done much for me
in the Funky Bunch
since Fear. I like Fear.
I don't even know that movie.
It's very, very, very old. It's like his first movie.
I like the last movie Mark Wahlberg really hit me was Four Brothers.
And Four Brothers, yes.
He played the hell out of that character.
Just those two, though. But Uncharted, like I said, great franchise. Love it to death. Know they're going to be doing another one. Don't know quite where they're going to go with it. I mean, I've heard too many rumors about it, but it's got a lot to live up to. So all I can say is good luck to them. It's my number 5. And before you go on and say your number 4, we're going to stop this and do. This is going to be a 2-parter. You know it had to be.
Oh man! So to save quick enough.
No, to save me from a huge editing job later, I'll stop it here. That'll make the editing a lot easier. And we're going to come back and we'll do this part 2 and finish up this thing. Does that sound good?
Works for me, sir.
All right. For those of y'all listening and watching, we will be back. We're going to take a piss break, drink some booze or some water. For me, it's water because I only drink on his show. And we'll be back for part 2 of our favorite video game franchises here on The Countdown.